Have you ever wanted to make a circle skirt but didn't know how or were afraid to try? Well, today I'm going to show you how I made a circle skirt just like this one that I'm wearing, except just a little bit shorter. I'm going to walk you through how to create the pattern and how to cut the fabric and how to sew it. So let's go get started. The pattern I'm going to show you how to make today is going to be a knee-length 3/4 circle skirt. This one here that I'm wearing is also a 3/4 circle skirt, but it is floor length. So this is the website that I used to draft the pattern for the circle skirt. This website talks to you about what kind of circle skirt you want and how much fullness it has, and it has several different options, so you can pick whichever kind of circle skirt you want. For this one, I picked a 3/4 circle skirt, and I put 2 panels for this skirt. I put my waist circumference at the circumference that your measurement is. You're going to pick how much ease you want for your waist, because it's going to add that in there. So you want to make sure that it's not too big and not too small. And then for the skirt length, you're going to add how long you want the skirt to be, and then you're going to let them know what your seam allowance is. So for me, I did 5/8 of an inch seam allowance because it will automatically calculate how it wants or how you should draft the pattern. And then for the hem allowance, I also picked 1 inch. And then you're going to hit calculate, and it's going to tell you right here how to draft your pattern. So with this information, we're going to go over to the pattern table and we're going to go ahead and draft this pattern. So now we're going to go ahead and draw out our pattern. Okay, so first thing I'm going to use is the protractor. So I'm going to use the protractor to make the correct angle. And since I know this part is straight, I'm going to use this edge here. Okay, so our protractor angle is going to be 67.5. So I'm going to just use a pencil real quick. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put a dot here in the middle where this little circle is, right here. And then you're going to find your angle from here. So 67.5, so 65, 66, 67, and kind of in the middle of that. It's not going to be exact, right? And then you're going to take and you're going to connect your dot to your line. To make your angle. Okay, so there is our angle. So from here to here, this is our 67.5 degree angle. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to just extend that line all the way down. So I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to use a marker so you guys can see it a little bit better. So my skirt is going to go from here over here. So this area here is going to be my skirt. So now that I have this line, I know I'm going to have to add more paper over here because it's not going to be long enough on this side here, because this paper is not wide enough. But for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my tape measure. Based on the website's calculation, I need to measure down 6.5 inches to make the skirt for my waistband. So I'm going to just tape this onto the table just right here, and I'm going to measure down 6.5 inches, and I'm going to mark that all the way in about a half a circle. And then as this is pulling a little bit, you're just going to keep moving the tape and making sure that it is in the corner. So there you can see, this is my waistband here for the circle skirt. And then the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna measure from here again in the corner down to the bottom. For the length that I want, I'm going to measure from here to the end is gonna be 27 inches. So right here, I'm going to measure 27 inches to the hem. And so once you have that marked out, you're going to just connect all your dots. And now we have our pattern. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to make a mark so that we know, because the way I made this pattern was to cut on the fold, there are other options in there where you can not cut it on the fold, but I just prefer to do it this way. So I'm just going to put cut 2 on fold. And then we're going to take our paper scissors and we're going to cut it out. So here is our 3/4 circle skirt pattern. And then also the only other thing that I would suggest that you write on here is what it is and how much seam allowance you have included in it, if any. Okay, so now we're ready to cut. So after you cut out your pattern, the only other thing that I do suggest you do is to at least make a partial mock-up. When I made that long circle skirt that I made, it was also a 3/4 circle skirt, and that was when I made this mock-up here, just to make sure that the waist would fit me and that everything would go together right. So you don't have to make a full mock-up. I made this pretty short, just so that I could make sure it fit. So this fabric that I'm using is a wool blend. I'm not sure what it's blended with. It might be cotton. I did a burn test and it kind of smelled like hair, so I'm not really sure. It might be cotton, could be blended with something else. It didn't look like polyester. I thrifted this from Austin Creative Reuse. It was about 1.5 yards, so not a whole lot, but it was a perfect amount for me to make this circle skirt, and this will be a really nice skirt for me to wear in the winter. And I'm excited to start wearing it. Right now it's the middle of the summer, so I'm clearly not going to be getting much wear out of a wool skirt right now. cut out my pattern pieces, I went ahead and finished my raw edges with the serger because this fabric was definitely fraying like crazy. So I did that, and then what I'm doing here is I left a space for the zipper, and I stitched from however many inches down the zipper was going to be to the bottom, and that's how I sewed up my side seam on the left side, and then I just sewed the entire side seam for the right side. And then for the waistband, I did not record that. I made a curved waistband, and how I did that was I just traced out the top portion about maybe like 2 or 3 inches of the top part of the pattern and created a curved waistband using that. And then I also cut that on the fold, just like I did for the other pattern. And then here you can see that I am stitching down the bias binding. This was around the entire outside of the skirt. And then after that, I went ahead and hand stitched that down, which I feel like took forever. In this clip, you can see that I am slip stitching this bias binding down to finish the hem on the bottom. This is going to be specifically good for finishing off the hem of a circle skirt because a bias binding will stretch around the curve. So, and because the bottom of this skirt is on a curve because it's a circle skirt, this one works much better for circle skirts and is my preferred method of finishing them, as opposed to a rolled hem, which might cause some puckering. All right, everybody, let's talk about my thoughts on this skirt. So I absolutely love it. I think it's great. It was a quick and easy project, and I only spent about $6 on this fabric because I got it from Austin Creative Reuse. And this is a wool blend, though I don't know what it's blended with. I think it might be cotton, I'm not 100% sure. But I feel good about the fact that I bought something that otherwise would have ended up in the landfill. So for $6, and I was able to make a really pretty circle skirt that I can wear in the winter time that's got some wool in it. I'm excited. So I would say this project probably took me maybe a day and a half. So I do plan on making a couple of more circle skirts because I love circle skirts, especially the 3/4. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you thought, and if you've made circle skirts before, and what you'd like to see next. I'll see you guys next time.